And they were buying, and we had our tree guy out just to kind of quote him on a few in case they want to put a pool in. And a neighbor just wasn't a very happy guy. So like he came over and was kind of snappy. And that alone is why they backed out at inspection, was just because they're like,
really? Oh, wow. My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to The Closing Table. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh, and joining us on this episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Garrett McCraight. How are you doing, Garrett?
Doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Man, wonderful, wonderful. Another episode, another opportunity to learn, to spread knowledge. Appreciate you for being here. So I like to start our show off with a little bit of a casual verbal jousting or whatever you want to call it. I got something called word association for you. I'm just going to throw out a real estate word, term, phrase, whatever you want to call it. And I just want the first thing that comes to your mind. Story, definition, another word. I don't care. Are you ready?
I hope.
All right, let's go. First one, escrow.
Escrow. Holding money.
Okay, that's legit. Next one, land.
They don't make any more of it.
Ooh, for real. Adverse possession.
I don't even know what that means.
Interesting. We'll get back to that. Equity.
More money in your pocket.
Correct. Last one, amortization.
I guess payments, right? I guess that reminds me of.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man, for going back and forth on our casual icebreaker and going back to adverse possession. To my understanding, that's a situation where a rare occurrence, actually, where someone can actually take ownership of a property if they are there taking living there and taking care of the property for a certain amount of time. There's a statute of limitation. If they are not like the actual owner on the deed, they can actually take ownership after a certain amount of time of being there and taking care of the property. So that would be adverse possession right there.
So that's like the technical term for like squatters' rights.
Correct.
There we go.
Correct. Great one. Yep. Appreciate you, man, for little casual exercise with us. So I like to get straight into it. But, as we start to talk about the business, I like to talk about the person first. So in 60 seconds or less, if you can, Garrett, tell us who you are outside of real estate, please.
Outside of real estate, father of two daughters. I got a 4-year-old, and my second daughter's almost a year. She'll be a year in less than a month. I'd like to think of myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think we're done. They keep us busy.
I love the I think part.
Yeah, they give us a run for our money, so keep us on our toes.
Yep.
But I mean, that's it. It's either work or family. Any little spare time I have, I like to spend on my motorcycle, but there isn't much of that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to work and back or to showings.
Right.
But right now it's just stay present with the girls and with my spouse. Recently engaged, so that's exciting. Kind of did things back.
Congratulations! Look at you, exciting life.
So yeah, I mean, work and family. What else do you need?
Hey, I get it. Same here, man. Same here. Love to hear it, though, man. Just lets us know that we have a lot more going on in our lives besides our profession. So let's talk about where you do your profession or where you are a professional at. Let's more specifically, can you describe your current market that you are serving geographically, first and foremost? Describe it for anybody who may have never been there for our audience. And then let's get into some of the economics in regards to real estate in your market. Go.
So, I mean, my office is in Livingston County in Brighton. Okay. I like to work out here quite a bit, but like tomorrow I got a showing down in Monroe. I got my sphere is I guess all over the place. Mostly like, Southeast Michigan though. I'll work with anyone who's happy and honest. So that's all I require. I don't care what the price point is. If you're a happy and honest person and ready to solve a problem, I'm ready to help you fix it or find it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that says a lot, man. That's all anybody really wants to work with. Someone who's honest, someone who's ready,
yeah,
someone who's in that position to accept knowledge and exchange knowledge and that type of stuff. It makes it easier for everybody.
exactly. If
Cool.
they're not honest, it makes life hard, and if they're not happy, it makes life hard. It's hard to solve problems when we're mad, So I understand there's
Correct.
hiccups,
Correct.
but if we can solve our problems with a smile on our face, it's easier for everybody.
With an open mind too.
Yep.
Let's talk about it. Love it. Love it. Love it. There's an event you were a part of. I don't know if you hosted it or if you were just a part of the panel sponsor or just an attendee. How not to go broke in real estate in 2023. Let's talk about this. Who was this event tailored for specifically? How often is this event hosted? What were some of the key things discussed?
So this actually, I went at a different approach. So I partnered with this company, Webhorse Marketing, and they just started rolling out a program to sell leads to real estate agents. In the beginning, I got to try it to see if they could do it, and they did well. And then they needed someone to build a sales department for them. So I was like, yeah, if I can work real estate while helping you build a department, I'm in. And so yesterday we actually sponsored that event from Webhorse Marketing. So it was cool. Most of those I'd go myself just to learn, but I got to learn and share a little bit of what we do over here to help agents grow their business. So
Gotcha.
it was where they say you get to have your cake and eat it too.
Nice. So it was more of like an agent to agent, knowledge to knowledge kind of like thing.
Yep.
Not necessarily for like first time home buyers, correct?
No, yeah, it was more agents surviving. The market's a little different right now than it has been.
Right.
I think yesterday they said that in Michigan we've lost already 60,000 agents this year. Yeah. I didn't look into that, so I don't know how true it is, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, sounds about accurate.
Yeah, so I guess it's tougher than I thought. But it's just cool to learn from other people. One of the ladies was, St. Clair Shore, so she's a little bit out there, so I get to learn a little bit about what she's seeing and how she built her business. And it's always just good to everyone does business different. So to hear what's working for other people, if that kind of makes sense in your business, to apply it and learn and keep growing.
Yep, try it and apply it. Love that. Keep looking for solutions to problems and be innovative too. I want to look back in your career as a real estate agent. You've been in many different properties in your community. So let's talk about maybe one of the weirdest things that you've seen at a property. We love to hear these type of stories, so please make it very interesting. Let's hear it.
Oh, God. Very interesting?
Come on.
Oh, God. The weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it, but it's, there we go.
Come on, we want it.
It was a listing, and we were doing pictures, and they had a spanking table. So, never seen that one before.
Wow.
Can we just put that in the closet or something for showings? Keep that
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
a table specifically made for that.
There was like restraints, and I was like, "Oh God, what did I get myself into?"
The fact that they felt comfortable enough to just leave it there, I don't know if they forgot, but the fact that they felt comfortable enough to leave it, maybe they felt like that's one of those things that would entice a buyer or something.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was like.
Them.
Part of me is like, what, leave it in the pictures because they'll get shared more because people are like, oh my God, look what they got. But,
right.
Yeah, that was the weirdest one. That one threw me for a spin. I didn't.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so now when the clients are thinking about all the properties they were showing, I like the one with the backyard, and that one actually had the spanking table too. That's good. We can.
Yeah, it's like we're either going to scare people away or get exposure. I don't know, but that one was just things you don't expect to see, especially when they know photographers are coming over.
Right.
They're obviously pretty open, but yeah, that one caught me off guard. And
I bet. Yeah. See, that's so crazy because honestly, man, that's the world. It just it's and I hate to say weird for real because to each its own,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
To each its own. At the same time, it's so crazy because I think about it all the time. In any given house, at any given moment, in any given neighborhood, there's anything going on the inside of there. And you just never know until you step inside. Like everybody's living their own separate lives, and they really live their
Yeah.
lives in their home. So you really know. And then the fact that as a real estate agent, you get to go into these homes,
Yeah.
like all different types of homes. You're getting a piece of their life.
Oh
So
yeah, it's
that's
always
a.
personal. That one, that one was out,
Mm-hmm.
extra personal. I mean, they were happy people, happy and honest. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, happy people, happy and
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Speaking of happy, speaking of honest, there's a lot of emotions that go into these properties, whether you're buying or selling. And in your career, I know you've had different experiences where you are dealing with a lot of emotions with clients, whether they're buying or selling. You have a story you can share of a heartwarming attachment that a client had to a property, and maybe how you had to navigate the process of either letting them let it go, or whatever the case may be.
I think this year it was honestly one of the hardest transactions I've ever encountered, and we almost didn't pull
Mm-hmm.
it off. But it was a younger couple. They were stuck in a co-op situation where it's like you can only sell it cash. It's hard to kind of find buyers. It's almost like a trap in some places where it's like it works out better for like maybe like an older clientele. They were younger and
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to move and get a home with a yard for their son. They didn't have a lot of money, so we found a house that was about to short sell in Taylor, and we experienced every. I mean, from no one died on my side, but the seller's husband died, so there was trouble with title. There was a deal that fell apart before because the guy didn't. He represented himself as the buyer. Didn't turn in an EMD. Didn't do anything, and then tried to put a lien on the house, which would have jammed us up. Because of the death, there was a probate lawyer who would not return phone calls. I actually had to
Oh,
show up in person. And we were the buyers, so it's like this wasn't even my side of the transaction, but we weren't getting answers, and they hung up for me once. I was like, "All right, game on. I'll see you in an hour." So start showing up at the
yeah.
door, and that one it was hard. It was hard for them, and they stuck it through. They kept like nothing was stopping them. Even the inspector when he came and saw the house was like, "I don't. What do you want me to inspect?" The city of Taylor was making it hard on them. Luckily, my dad has a few connections there, so he called them and was like, "Hey, you don't have systems in place to help these kids buy a house that they're trying to fix up." But I just talked to him actually this morning, and they're putting new windows in. They're living in the home finally, and that one was
There it
just
is.
yeah. It took us months, and it's just that's what they wanted. And it's honestly, it was like if the house was on fire, they wouldn't have cared. And because I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, there's this isn't working out. I've never seen a transaction go this south or have this many issues, and that's what they
Right.
wanted. So we both worked together. Like if they weren't happy and solution oriented, I wouldn't have been able to work and figure it out myself. So like that one is just like it was one of them hard ones, but really rewarding just to see them finally get what they want after months of work. I mean, it was like when we add up
Yeah.
all the hours, I probably made like 70 cents an hour, but like it's not even it's worth seeing them happy, I guess. Or but yeah, I wasted.
I've never heard anybody break it down like that. That sounds
Yeah, that one
crazy.
was practically charity work. I don't know if I made much money with all the trips,
Oh,
but it was worth it. You know what I mean? It was fulfilling
yeah,
to see them
man.
get what they wanted, and to know that even my broker was like other agents wouldn't have done what you've done to
Yeah.
get that through. Most people would give up, and I asked them if they wanted to quit, and they didn't. So I was like, all right, if you don't, you hired me, so we'll find a way to figure this out.
Let's get it done. That speaks to your resilience, for one. And then it also speaks to the fact where a lot of agents will tell people and encourage people, if you find a home that you want, you marry the home and date the rate. I don't know if the interest rate had anything to do with their situation, but at the same time, it seemed like they were married to that
Oh yeah,
home. I'll tell you that
oh yeah,
much. They wanted that home and they did whatever they had to because, like we say, interest rates can change every day, all day. Your programs, options can change, but it's not going to change these homes.
yeah,
They're going to be what they are essentially. So if you find yours, do what you can to obtain it. And
yeah,
that exemplifies that right there.
yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So you like to deal with these happy and honest clients, but I'm sure it may look like that in the beginning, but it's probably not always that situation. Have you ever had to deal with a difficult or demanding client? And how did you handle this situation?
They're all. I mean, everyone's kind of demanding. It's a big deal. It's most people's biggest asset, the most money they're really going to spend. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
understanding that and trying to keep everybody their hopes up. As you know, that if there were no hiccups through a transaction, we wouldn't have a job. That's why I got to remind myself. So
It's
I
true.
feel like they kind of play a lot off of your energy. So if you as an agent are, if you get beat up, they're gonna feel that beat up as well. So it's keeping your head up to help keep their head up. Um, if they're dishonest, I won't. I mean, they're gonna make me look bad or jeopardize my license. I won't. If I get someone lying to me, it's I'm gonna let myself go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't want anything bad tied to my name. And
Got you.
so it's like if people make mistakes or like don't understand things, that's one thing. But I don't know, with that emotional roller coaster, that's probably one of the hardest parts of the job. It's just riding that with them and trying to keep everybody afloat. It's that's what we get paid for. Keeping the deal together, keeping people happy, and getting them what they want.
Yeah, yeah. Sharing that knowledge that they need, and getting them through any and all hiccups. Also, yeah. Great point. Great point. You spoke on that one situation where the clients and Taylor in the home. That seemed like it was very, very complex and a lot to go through. But you said you had a transaction under contract on January 10th and closed on April 7th. Was that that
I
transaction?
believe
That
I
was that
believe
actual
so.
one?
Yeah,
You said that was the most difficult transaction you've dealt with.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah. That
Wow, that is crazy.
it took a while. Like I mean, honestly, I think the only problem we didn't deal with was divorce. But like I mean, I learned a lot
Mm,
on that deal. With probate. I mean, I could probably spend an hour just going through like the issues that came up, like stuff you'd never expect, things, just left field title companies that wouldn't insure us because someone mentioned they were going to put a lien on the property. There wasn't even one on there. But we could have gone through all those hoops. And then, and the guy who talked about putting a lien on, that was his gig. He would buy houses, not move forward, but because he had a purchase agreement, he'd put a lien on it. I learned you could put a lien on someone's house because they owe you lunch money. It don't matter if you're willing to go through the paperwork and pay the $40 or whatever it is. You can put a lien on anyone's home. So yeah, that was a it was a dumpster fire, but it was very rewarding. You know what I mean? I told him, I was like, if it was me, I don't know if I'd move forward. And like, this is what we want. Nothing else in our price range is like this home. I mean, the house was not livable. I mean, they ripped drywalls out. The plumbing was busted in the walls. The furnace had a hazardous tag on it. Like, it was, like I said, if it was on fire, they still would have bought it. But
that is crazy.
learned a lot.
So let me ask you. Let's say you are in a situation where the client starts off good, but you kind of see it heading in that exact same situation. Learning from what you learned before, how would you handle that situation going forward?
Um, I don't know. I like to give people options. At the end of the day, this is their life, their money. So if I start to see this is going to be a bumpy transaction, just being upfront and honest about it, and let them make the decision. If they want to, put the boots on, start stomping through the nonsense, then I'll get my boots on too, and we'll figure it out. If they want to
Okay.
abandon ship, I'm cool with that as well. It's I just long as they are aware of where this could go, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, if the right people are willing to go at it, I'm not going to give up on them.
I asked that question to pretty much gauge your threshold because I know you said that once you actually look back on that transaction, you said you were working for about 70 cents an hour, which sounds
That's just exaggeration, but
crazy.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm thinking you really did the numbers. I said,
no,
yo,
but it was like
we need to talk,
it
Garrett.
was stupid amount of work. Like it was, luckily I had another deal right after that where it was like nothing went wrong. Like they had equity right
Perfect.
off the bat. They didn't have to use their appraisal guarantee. So like, life has balance. But yeah, that
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
like I probably just the amount of trips we made and money we spent. But it's at the end of the day, it's not about the money. I know those people. At any time they're ready to sell or
Yeah, for
buy,
sure.
they or any of their friends, they're gonna tell them about their guy and all the hoops he jumped through for them. So it's worth it in the long run. You know what I mean? It'll all come around.
Gotcha,
Help the
gotcha,
people
gotcha.
and hope for the best.
All types of situations can occur when you're showing a home, showing a listing, hosting an open house, or whatever the case may be. I know this may be unusual, or maybe don't happen too often. But has there been a time where you had to mediate a conflict between maybe like neighbors during a sale or a purchase transactions at all?
Hopefully you kind of people get heated. but normally they get heated with
Mm-hmm.
you, and you try and help, just help people see the other side. I feel like when people are negotiating, a lot of times they fail to see the other side's perspective. Put themselves in their shoes.
Yeah.
So I've never really seen anything like too crazy. I mean, I had one. It was a nice property too. It was like 800,000. And they were buying, and we had our tree guy out just to kind of quote him on a few in case they want to put a pool in. And a neighbor just wasn't a very happy guy. So like he came over and was kind of snappy, and that alone is why they backed out at inspection, was just because they're like, I'm not going to
Really?
live
Oh,
with that guy.
wow.
And that was awkward for the other agent because they were like, well, what's wrong with the house? I was like, nothing. It's the neighbor, And like I said, transparency is huge with me. It's like, the neighbor came over here a little mouthy, and they don't feel like they want to buy a home in this price range to have to deal with someone like that.
To have to deal with that.
So, I mean, but it wasn't like that bad. Like I mean, at the end of the day, that's what they wanted. But no, there was no like cussing or, it wasn't too bad.
Wow. Yeah, but that's big though. Still, like, I mean, if and that's another major factor. I mean, I don't think we talked on it too much at the closing table. But when you're buying a home in a neighborhood, yes, you want the neighborhood to be nice. Yes, you want the house to be nice, of course. Yes, you want to be near a great school. But the vetting your neighbors is something that's very, very
Yeah.
important. And it's something that you usually don't get a chance to do prior to buying a house. That's something usually that you have to find out over time, being there, talking to them. Maybe they're very secretive. Maybe they keep to themselves. Maybe they don't like to speak in the morning. Maybe that you rarely see them at all. They keep their yard a certain type of way, and you just don't, maybe you cut grass at different schedules, and there's so many different things that go into it. But I feel like that was like a blessing in disguise. They
Yeah.
find they see that interaction early and say, this isn't worth
No,
it.
no.
That's kind of
That's
crazy.
I was like, wow, like, because I didn't even like catch it. Like, I came around the corner and they're like, we're done. Like,
Yeah,
what happened? What did I miss? So it was brief. And I guess, yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? They figured that out because I
man.
mean the houses weren't far apart. They had like nice long lots, but the neighbors, you could see his house. So if you don't like him, you might as well get out before you move forward. Um,
Yeah, that's
feel
crazy.
bad for the
That's
sellers. You know
crazy.
what I mean? It's like that's something that's completely out of their control.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, exactly.
that's probably why they were selling. Get away from that
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. That's a good point. That's a good point.
They're like, oh, John talks again.
Yeah, here you go.
Yep.
Let's get out of
Yep.
here. Open houses too, man. They can be an opportunity to network and connect with potential clients beyond the property that's being showed. Can you recall a time when hosting an open house led to a fruitful business relationship or a referral that extended beyond a particular property?
I haven't done much since COVID. Because I got out of the habit of
Really,
it, and
really.
then with the girls and such, like I was doing a lot of cold calling. So for me, it's like if I can spend my mornings 9 to noon on the phone, and then at least have my Saturdays back with the family. If I'm not showing homes, that's the way I kind of liked it after. But there was a few, especially in the beginning. I remember one, just holding it open for a friend. It wasn't my listing, and I picked up. They were like the low 500,000s, but they were a super great couple, really good people, easy to work with, and never would have got them if it wasn't for the open house. And I mean, one day they even helped me push my car out of the driveway because the snow was so deep. So yeah, I couldn't.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
just good, chill people. So it worked out.
Yeah.
I definitely should do more. Just right now the priorities with the family is like it's do my business, help other families, but I'm not trying to work 90 hours a week right now. Once they're in school, that's a different story. But
Right,
first
right,
five
right. I
years, I'll
feel it.
never get that time back. You know.
Man, come on, man. That's real. Fatherhood in the house. Hey man, so but what I like, what stands out to me about that is, and I'm so glad that you said that because obviously it's not hindering your success. You're not showing as many open houses since the pandemic, and you're still just as successful, if not more successful, than you were prior to the pandemic or the situation. So it makes me wonder the future of open houses or the future of real estate in general, if you can still be just as successful without even physically going to that home,
Yeah.
or at least for open house, probably for a showing you'll still do, or whatever the
Yeah.
case
Yeah.
may be. But open house is a different part of the transaction.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't. from what I've seen, a lot of people don't like to hop on the phones. And it's not, it's boring work, and sometimes it's rough. But to me, I'd rather do that than I don't know. It's just another form of lead gen. You know what I mean? A lot of people will do the
I
open
feel it.
houses, and like even like listings I have, I'll hold them open. I just will give them to a friend so they can pick up buyers, or if I'm free, I'll do them. Just haven't done much since then. Um, and I love it when the house is full. But I've also done open houses where there's two people walk through in 4 hours, and that's like you start hearing voices when you're alone that long. So it's just
Now, how rare is that? Okay, has that happened recently? I
no,
imagine that hasn't happened recently.
not for me. Like I said, I haven't done too many of them, but
Well,
there
yeah,
was a
yeah, good
few in
point.
like my first couple of years where I just
Mhm.
sat there and it just it was horrible. It's one of them like golf communities where you're deep in it. So like just to even like get directional signs to it, you talking like 10 signs at least. So I don't know if it was like because of how far it was off main roads or
Mm,
that house did sit for a while too. It was on a team I was on. It wasn't my listing, but they wanted help with it, and I needed clients and exposure, so I was doing it. But yeah, a
right.
couple of those it just kind of you know made me not a big fan of them. I've also had them where they're great. Some agents that's all they do and have massive success from it. Where me, I was like, I'd rather spend my morning on the phones and find clients that way, and it's just I guess a different cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I love to hear that too because literally some agents are like, no, I hate cold
Yeah.
calling. Like I rather some people, and that's crazy. Some people say I rather walk up to a door and just knock on everybody's door, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
no, I would
But
rather
that's
do
their
that.
hustle, man.
I would rather door
Really?
knock than cold call. But
Woo.
it's slower, and I would have to get more
I
results.
get
I
it.
have to wait till like the 5 to 7 time frame, and I like to be home
That's a
with
good point.
family. But
Good
yeah, no,
point.
in a past life, I did door knocking 90 hours a week for 6 years in Southern California. So it's like I like the belly to belly, face to face. It's not. It doesn't even seem like work. It's almost like fun. Like how can I make these people enjoy their time?
Oh, you the man for that.
Yeah.
You the man for that. You a better man than me. I'll tell you that much right now. So you say you rather do cold calling than host an open house, and you rather do door to door knocking than even do cold calling.
Yeah, because that's like at least you're outside
Nice.
and people can see your face. Like, I feel like sometimes it's hard to like have humor over the phone if they don't know who you are, and it's easier for people to be a little more upset on the phone. Where face to face, they're like you still
That's a
get
that's a whole
cranky
fact.
people, but like when I see the cranky
Yeah.
people, I'm like, hang on, no, like this isn't. We're gonna by the time I'm done, you're gonna be smiling. Like it's even if they're not buying or selling, just like I want it to be a positive. Uh, yeah,
Interaction.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just like a good moment, and to me, it's just fun. It's back to the basics with like humanity, and I feel like we kind of
I
lose
love that.
that, but it's cool, and then to be able to make a friend quick, it just makes you feel better. Like I guess people do like me sometimes. So,
I guess there are some nice people, some genuine
yeah,
people out here in the world.
yep,
Yeah. You can also read the nonverbals, which are very,
exactly.
very important in communication and interactions too. I love that perspective, Garrett, man. You on fire today. Knowing what you know now, using today's resources, I would assume that you own a home now, but let's say you don't. You don't own a home in 2023. You're an aspiring homeowner, Garrett, but you know a lot. You know what you know now as a professional, and you know all the resources available. What approach would you take to owning your first home in 2023 with the conditions that's going on now, please?
I would I'd find a house that needs work. Um, Homes right now that are turnkey or
Mm-hmm.
remodeled, that's where people, you're seeing a lot of those appraisal guarantees, people overpaying what the house appraised for. Um, me and my brother-in-law, he's another real estate agent, actually built our own home. When I say built, it was me and him did it. Um, and that was during the pandemic because we were bored. We're like, let's see what we can learn. And
Oh, you build a
yeah,
house because you're bored during the
yeah.
pandemic. We all heard this, ladies and gentlemen.
We didn't know how
This
long
guy,
it would happen. So we're like, I had
man.
some money set aside. I was like, let's figure this out. And we had some help from like, I know friends in the trade that would come and like inspect our work to be like, make sure I'm not going to burn the house down with my electrical work. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would buy something that needs work just because, you're not seeing as many people go after those. So you're going to save a little bit of money. Like, you're not going to overpay, that's for sure. And then, if you buy at the bottom and then fix it up, now it's worth more too. So you can make some more money on the back end when you sell, or or refi and get some money that way and buy another home. But yeah, I just feel like if I was to buy a home right now, I would be looking for something that sat, a week or two, and that needed some work. That's
Yeah.
that's how you prevent overpaying. You
Yeah.
either overpay or put in some work.
I agree. And I think the thing is, a lot of people don't like to put in that sweat equity
Yeah,
so they can have more skin in the
yeah.
game.
And
Let's talk. Oh, no, please,
I was just saying,
please.
some people don't have the time or the skills, but like even the skills, like I didn't have them, but you only don't do things because you either don't want to or you don't know how, and if you don't know how, you figure it out.
You figure it
Figure it
out.
out.
YouTube University, all the artificial intelligence you can use nowadays. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they walk you step by step. I'm still impressed with the fact that during the pandemic, everybody, we did little basic things, start a t-shirt company, start collecting coins, start a podcast. This man built the house.
Yeah.
Thanks for making us all feel like we valued our time during the pandemic. Thank you.
It was
And we
definitely
appreciate you.
it wasn't the best idea. I remember the next day being like, I can't believe we just started this. But it was like, I was already 15 grand deep. So I was like, well, it's got to happen now. But like,
Yep.
then came, the inflation with everything. So I think it was like $75 a sheet of OSB just for 4x8 tongue and groove OSB. It's like $75. Normally it was like $10. So it's like, and of course, once the lumber went down, then I needed copper, and that went up. So like, it wasn't the best timing, but like once you start, you can't stop. What are you
Yep,
gonna do?
exactly. Got to commit to it. Got to commit.
Won't do it again.
Well, we appreciate but you have what you have now, so you don't need to. And you had the experience, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Garrett, man. Thank you for pulling up a seat to the closing table and dropping some gems, sharing your knowledge. At this point, if you have any last words or want to tell people how to reach out to you, please do so now.
Well, thanks for having me. I guess if you like what I say and you want to maybe sit down and talk about what it takes to buy or sell a home today, give me a call on my cell phone, 734-740-5131. And that's that.
There it is. Yeah, we appreciate you, Garrett McCraight, the great, sharing the knowledge on the closing table. We appreciate it. For our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, do us both a favor and hit the like button, please and thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Garrett, I like to leave our audience with a question before they leave the chat. That way their brains can get to going. Audience, this is for you. Do you prefer to go to an open house of a property that you're interested in prior to buying, or does it not matter at all to you? Don't tell us now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that, I'll talk to you next time.